in this long trade, July 18th, which we definitely could have got in sooner than that. Again, depending on like utilizing the trend lines, which I'll pull up here. So for one, this is the sort of trend that we're in now, and I'll go ahead and reduce that. So as you see, we've got our long trade that we're in. We've had a crossover of the shorter moving average to the longer moving average. And again, I want to drill down into looking at the candles to see how effective it is in determining what the next move is in the market. So the next thing I want to point out again is this candle, which so this was the high, this is where the market started, it ended up lower, and this is what I sort of highlighted here. The high, top of the wick, bottom of the wick, opening, and the close of this particular thing. So with that, I'm going to move down to the next level, which is the 1 hour chart. And again, we want to see where does that fit. So this is the 1 day, and then here we have the 1 hour, and then we have sort of a sub-cycle that exists here. And let's see if I put that sub-cycle and sync that throughout the layout, you can kind of see where we're at between the 1 day and the 1 hour. So again, focusing in on this sub-cycle here, and I'll go ahead and come out of the 1 day and get into the 1 hour. So again, we're in this longer trend, and what we wanted to figure out right now is, are we breaking trend or are we staying within the trend? So with that, I'm going to turn on these trend lines that we previously were looking at. And as I mentioned yesterday, this is a trend line, a sort of sub-trend. And yesterday we didn't have that kind of crossing over of that sub-trend. And what we see today is not only did it kind of cross beyond that sub-trend, it's moving to this main trend line, at least within this cycle in and of itself. And then to correspond with that, as well as looking at the RSI, we have some upward movement crossing over of one moving average again across another. So these are some indications that we're coming out of this cycle and moving into a new cycle, possibly toward an uptrend. Could be looking at within the next couple of days. But again, we need this to cross over this trend line, and then we can take a position. And again, even when we see these crossovers and retest, we also still want to look at stop losses and make sure our stop losses are effectively in place. We'd be looking to kind of put a stop loss, assuming that came out, we'd be looking to put a stop loss, under one of our lows there, so that even if it does break back down, we're in a good position. So, all right, with that said, that's that. And then what I wanted to look at was, again, how do we analyze candles very specifically? And going back to the larger 1 day, here's our candle here. We want to see, what does this candle look like at lower time frames so we could get better analysis. And again, that's how that looks. So, and what I want to do too is go on down to the 3-minute chart, which I'll show here, and show how that looks compared to the 1 hour. So here we are here. This is what this sort of candle on a 1 day chart looks like on a lower cycle, right? So again, this addresses the whole fractal nature of the market. So you want to constantly kind of pare down and see, well, what's going on? So again, looking at the trend, I'm going to turn that trend line back on. So as you see, okay, so we got a top resistance level hit on Tesla, okay? That trade's doing well. Nonetheless, here's our trend line here, and here's how it's reflected. So this is where we were looking at potentially stop loss there on the previous day when the market kind of went down. Now again, this is where we are currently. So want to highlight that, and then let's open this up. We've got on this 3-minute time frame, you see it went exactly right over that trend line that we put there. And what it did here, we wanted to do again here. So before we kind of look to rebuy or purchase a new transaction, it looks like we're holding to this long-term bottom, and we needed to kind of cross over this, and then we could start thinking about putting in a trade, right? So that's just pretty much where we are. Wanted to touch base, do a follow-up on where the market currently is, where we expect it to go, and what we're looking for is this thing to kind of hop over and then make its way back up. And even assuming it's going to do that, of course, we still want to put our stop loss in place in case the market goes against us. So again, this is just simple trading strategies, utilizing moving averages, moving average crossovers, trend lines, and understanding the fractal nature of the market. And we'll tune back in on another one and get another new update, possibly tomorrow. All right, talk with you soon.